Assalamu alaikum, good morning my dear students. Today inshallah we are going to continue Unit 4 and Global English 7. Inshallah today we are going to cover Lesson 5 and Lesson 6, which are in pages 34 and 35. Please be prepared with your course book and open on page 34. 34, our lesson today is titled by Planning a School Trip. All of us we know what does it mean and how is it so funny for us. School trip. When you are going on a school trip, I'm sure that all of you will be happy. Okay, let me ask you a question. How would you plan for a school trip? Did you plan before? Okay, well done. Have you ever been on a school trip? Where was it? Try to remember the best school trip ever you have been there. And what was it like? Was it good? Was it bad? Or you remember something very good from this trip or not? Where would you like to go on your next school trip? If you have another chance to go on a school trip another time, what's the place you would like to go? Okay, please move now on page 34 and let's have a look on the page. We have here some vocabularies in these books, which are making, cooking, following, identifying, putting up. These verbs, before we identify or before we have a look on the exercise, let's try to answer this one. Those verbs, making, cooking, following, identifying, and putting up, we need to put them or to use them with the words in the box here. Outdoor survival skills. So if you are going on a trip, you need to know those well, because maybe you are going to need any one of those. For example, especially if you are going on a long journey or you are going for camping. So if you are going for camping, you need to know those. Number one, a tent. What's a tent? It's like a house, yeah. It's like a small house or like hut, which you build it or you put up. So number one, what's the correct verb? With a tent? Can I cook a tent? Can I follow a tent? No. The answer is putting up a tent. So when we go for a camp, we need to put up a tent. Number two, a campfire. A campfire. What can we do with a campfire? Yes, we need to make a campfire. So the correct answer, making a campfire. Number three, what can we do over a campfire? So we used making and we used putting up. What about cooking, following, and identifying? Yes, the correct answer, cooking over a campfire. Number four, a path or a trail. So, excellent. The answer, following. Following a path. The last one, number five, trees, plants, and wildlife. You need to identify trees, plants, and wildlife. So the five verbs quickly. Number one, putting up. Number two, making. Three, cooking. Four, following. And the last one, number five, identifying. Okay, we have here that a school trip we are going to know, and before the school trip the teacher is going to give some instructions to the students to follow these instructions. Before we enter exercise 2, we are going to listen now to track number 10 to know how or where will be this school trip. Let's have a look quickly on page 35. before listening, I need you just to read these notes very well, because just we are going to fill the gaps here. So this school trip notes say school trip to Lakeside Activity Center. The students are going to this school trip for 2 days. If we look here carefully, we are going to look day 1 and day 2. On day 1, what are the students going to do? So they are going to do some activities. We need to write the answers. Like meet at school, what time they are going to meet, what are they going to do, or what are the activities they're going to do, when will they take the supper, for example, and on the second day, what are they going to do. Let's listen now to track number 10 and try to fill the gaps now.
Track 10.
Remember, all of you, that tomorrow we're going on a trip to Lakeside Activity Centre. So listen carefully. You'll need to be at school at 7:30 because we'll be leaving at 8 o'clock from the school car park.
What are we going to do when we get there?
Well, the first thing we'll do is put up our tents.
But I'm no good at putting up a tent.
Putting up a tent is easy.
Don't worry. The instructors will help you and then they'll show you around the activity centre.
What time is lunch, miss?
Lunch is at 12:30. It'll be sandwiches and a drink.
What do we do after lunch?
You can do water sports.
Great.
Oh, I'm no good at water sports. I don't like falling into the water.
That's okay. You can do some of the forest trail activities.
What are forest trail activities, miss?
Well, following a trail and identifying trees and plants and wildlife. Or there's mountain biking. And then it'll be 6 o'clock and time for supper. And the good news is we're cooking our own supper over a campfire.
Wow.
Yes, making a campfire and cooking over it are important survival skills, just like putting up a tent. After supper, you'll be listening to stories and singing songs around the fire. So that's day 1. Oh, and by the way, lights out is at 9:30, which means you've all got to be in bed by 9:15.
That's early.
Then, on day 2, we have breakfast at 8 o'clock. You can choose your activities in the morning, but in the afternoon, we're all going to try something very exciting. It's called zip lining.
What's that, miss?
It's when you go through the treetops on a metal wire.
That sounds great.
After that, we have to pack our bags and the coach leaves at 4 o'clock.
Okay, thank you guys. Now, after listening track 10, let's check the answers. The first one. On day 1, the students are going to meet at, well done, 7:30. So the first answer here, 7:30. What time are they going to leave? Excellent. They are going to leave, or they are going to start leaving at 8 o'clock. Okay. Afternoon activities, the first activity they are going to do according to what we listen to. So the first activity, water sports. The first one, water sports. Number 2, they are going to the forest and identify the trees, the plants and wildlife there. Or, the answer here, or they are going to mountain biking. Well done. Okay. Let's move to the second one. Their supper will start 6 p.m. How? Cooking over a campfire. Cooking over a campfire. Okay, the next one. On the second day, they are going to take their breakfast at 8 a.m. They are going to take, or they are going to have their breakfast at 8 a.m. Morning activities. What are the activities they are going to do in the morning? Yes, they can choose their activities. The teacher told them you can choose your activity. They are going to have their lunch at 12:30, and the last, no, not the last one, I'm sorry. The afternoon activity, they are going to go zip lining. They are going to leave the camp at, well done, 4 o'clock. They are going to leave at 4 o'clock. Thank you. Now, let me ask you a question. In exercise 4, the question 1, who are the people in the conversation? So we can say the answer is the students and their teacher. The second question, what is the conversation about? Well done. The teacher is giving instructions to the students before their trip. And now just let's move back to exercise 2. We need to match the words in the 2 columns. Like for example, the first one, a pair of, so a pair of trainers. A pair of trainers, as it's answered here. Number 1 with B. Number 2, sleeping. Excellent. Sleeping bag. That's picture, or that's letter D. Number 3, waterproof jacket. If you are going, for example, for swimming, you need a waterproof jacket. A change of clothes. Well done. Number 5, swimming costume. Number 6, swimming trunks. Now let's move to 35, page 35, and let's cover or study this use of English, which is about ing forms. Sometimes all of us, we are confused when we write or when we start writing, especially in the grammar. For example, I like eating. I need to use the verb eat. So you ask yourself, what should I write? The verb eat. I like eating, or I like to eat. Or I want to drink Pepsi, or I want drinking Pepsi. Yes. In the first example, I like eating. In the second one, I want to drink. I cannot say I want drinking. So when we use the ing form, we have items or specific items to use ing form. What are these ones? Let's know them. First of all, we use the ing form, which is about the verb plus ing in English, where some other languages use infinitives. Look at the examples here. Like for example, how would you say these sentences in your language? Number 1, or the first point, ing forms as subject. When we use the ing verb as a subject, like putting up a tent is easy, or swimming is good for everyone, or reading is useful for your mind. Now I used the ing form at the beginning of the sentence, so I used it as a subject. Number 2, when we use the ing form as objects, like I don't like falling into the water. I don't like eating fish, or I enjoy helping others, or I like traveling around the world. So number one, when we use ing form as subject. Number two, when we use it as objects. Number three, ing forms, or we use ing form after a preposition. What are the prepositions? Prepositions like at, in, of, on, like those. Like this example, I'm no good at putting up. I'm no good at putting up. Like for example, when you say, I'm interested in watching football. I'm interested in watching football. Okay, thank you for watching this video today, and for this lesson we covered Unit 4. Inshallah, in the next lesson we are going to start Unit 5. Thank you and see you inshallah next time.